Here to talk about how the balance of power is shaping up 12 months out is Fox News contributor Richard Fowler, along with Trafalgar Group chief pollster Robert Cahaly. Gentlemen, thank you both. I just want to put this up on the screen if I can. This is a list of House Democrats retiring, resigning, or seeking another office. Look at them there. By my count, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got about 16 of these people. And the concept here, Richard, to you is, you know, they're jumping ship and the lifeboat's getting awfully full. What's the response?
Well, thanks for having me, Trace. I'm not sure if it's the lifeboat's getting full or we just have a lot of old members in the House side of the Democratic caucus. With that being said, I think as you look towards the midterm elections, if Virginia is any key leading indicator, what you saw in Democratic precincts, in Democratic strongholds, places like Richmond, places like Alexandria, is you saw a depression in the amount of turnout there. A lot of Democratic voters didn't turn out to vote. The midterm elections has always been and will continue to be a base election. Who can turn out their base voters? The Democratic Party doesn't have a governing problem when it comes to its base. The Democratic Party has a messaging problem when it comes to its base. Many of the things that they're talking about in Build Back Better are popular with Democratic voters. Problem is, the Democratic Party isn't talking about them to Democratic voters.
Yeah, as Richard said, Robert, it all comes down to the midterms, and some of these Democrats are already kind of revving the engines. I want to play some sound from a Democrat and then a Republican, and I'll get your response on the other side. Watch.
When we describe these achievements to the American public, that will be a record of results that we will be proud to run on.
My colleagues and I are ready to fix this mess that this administration has created.
Because somebody there, Robert's not telling the truth. I mean, I don't know, but what's the record that you're proud to run on? What are you going to hit the campaign trail and say, man, are we killing it or what?
You know, it seems like when we look at things that politicians have in common with migratory birds, they both have like an internal sense of when it's time to move on. And in 2017 and 2018, the Republicans, so many of them weren't running again because they saw what was coming. And I think the Democrats see the same thing. The agenda isn't working. There's a total rejection of almost everything that's been accomplished and the things that even they've attempted. And you can't run on a record that the public doesn't agree with. And whether it's letting people flood across the border or abandoning people in Afghanistan or Russia gets a pipeline, America doesn't. I mean, gas prices and inflation, it's just not a good record to run on.
Yeah, I want to put this up. This is the President Biden on Tuesday talking about his social spending plan. Watch.
My plan to build back better for our people. Getting folks back to work and reducing the cost of things like child care, elder care, housing, health care, prescription drugs. 14 Nobel laureates in economics said it'll actually bring down the cost. It will reduce the deficit, and it will totally paid for.
Richard, the Congressional Budget Office, we expect to come out with a score on this on Friday. It might not be good. It might not be a deal breaker in the House, but what about the Senate?
Well, listen, I think that's what it's going to come down to. How will Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin receive the CBO score? With that being said, where I disagree with my colleague here is this. Yes, we do have an inflation problem in this country. I mean, you look at the cost of bacon. With that, but when you talk to Democratic voters, many of the things that Joe Biden listed off there, whether it be decreasing the cost of child care, decreasing the cost of elderly care, decreasing the cost of prescription drugs, are very popular amongst Democratic voters. The problem is, even in that soundbite, Joe Biden wasn't giving a full-throated defense of it. Instead, the Democrats and the Democratic Party and to Democratic-based voters, they've been mired down in the process. And what Democrats are going to have to do over the next 12 months is stop talking about the process and start talking about the elements of the bill and how it will change the daily life of their base voters, because this will be a base election.
We got to go, Robert, but this Politico Morning Consult poll showing that 40% of voters don't think that Biden is in good health. That's a 29-point swing in 1 year. That's a lot.
Oh, it's a tremendous amount. We did a poll earlier in the year that demonstrated people thought he wasn't in control at all, and that he was kind of, floundering around. And I mean, you see everything from him confusing the Taiwan policy to him swearing there was no way it was $450,000. I mean, he's sending so many mixed signals. He just doesn't seem to have a grip on it, and the things he does have a grip on aren't going well.
Robert Cahaly, Richard Fowler, gentlemen, thank you for staying up. We appreciate it.